Are we live?
We are live.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Valley Vision. I'm Abby Alonzo. T is back producing for us this week. What'd it do, baby? How was your weekend?
It was good, nice little life kind of maintained to myself. Abby and I went out to the community and we did some yoga and Pilates. And
we did. Yeah. I got my butt kicked. And for somebody who's in the gym, literally still in my gym clothes, 7 days a week. Shout out to Evolve. Shout out to Rivers. Shout out to Stripes Social. Y'all did me a little bit dirty for sure, but it was fun. We had a good time. We did some content at Beausoleil for Don Juan's charity event, or a charity event they sponsor. Smoke 'em if you got 'em BR. The proceeds go to
military families.
Military families, first responders, nonprofit organizations for them. It was a really cool event. We did like a little mini Beyond the Box after LSU lost to Auburn yesterday. We'll talk about that in a few moments. But before we get started, I have a desk full of, I don't know what's going on above this studio, but somebody is banging on something. Disregard if you hear it. I do have a desk full of goodies. Obviously, we have our wonderful sponsor, St. Rock. Remember, proceeds of these bottles of this vodka go back to the LSU athletes through Bayou Traditions, the official NIL collective of LSU. They've been with us for a couple months now, and we can't do this without them. So shout out to St. Rock for being an OG. And then I have this nice little hydration drink in front of me. It is called A Game. It's up and coming in the BR community, started by Johnny Damon and Bo Nix. If you are looking for a pretty natural hydration drink, this is your go-to. I can't complain about, actually this is the tropical flavor, it's one of my favorites, but I can't complain about any of the flavors. So check them out. I do have a link in my bio on Instagram if you guys are looking for good hydration drinks. And last but not least, there's food on the desk. Why is there food on the desk, Abby? Well, because I am just now getting around to my lunch, which is exactly why I am partnered with Fresh Chef Kitchen. They are a meal prep company, and they make some fire meals for people who are busy all the time, who don't have time to stop for lunch or go cook for dinner. They do 2 pickup days a week. You pick your meals at the beginning of the week with Shane, and then pick them up, and you're good to go for half the week until you pick up the rest. So they have a lot of different options. You can also get it on a 1-meal basis at their location off of Airline. Check out Fresh Chef Kitchen BR and use code ABBY10 for 10% off your first purchase. You ready to talk some sports?
Of course. It's Monday. We're live at 5.
I'll tell y'all, today, Monday was Mondaying. You know what I'm talking about. Monday was just Mondaying. I had a flat tire. We had all kinds of meetings and moving sets. But we're here, and we're happy to be here. And we're going to start off by recapping the 2024 NFL Draft. I don't know if you guys were with us, but we were live for a little bit for the first round of the NFL Draft. We had some technical difficulties, so we ended up finishing up on our phone, but we were live when Jayden Daniels went second off the board after Caleb Williams to the Commanders, and we were live for when Malik Neighbors went to the Giants, number 6 overall. I'm just going to give y'all a rundown of where your LSU Tigers are, what teams they either were drafted by or signed with, and then we'll give you a little bit of some of our thoughts and where some of these guys ended up. Did we think they were going to be there? So, obviously, Jayden Daniels goes to the Commanders. I think the odds on DraftKings were like plus 100,000 or minus 100,000. For him to go there was kind of a no-brainer. Malik ended up with the Giants, again, number 6 overall. Brian Thomas Jr. to Jacksonville. And here is the kicker. Jacksonville decided they were going to grab all kinds of LSU Tigers because they then went with Mason Smith, defensive tackle Mason Smith. At number 48 overall, Jordan Jefferson, again, helping out their defense at number 116. And then the Lions got in on it. Mekhi Wingo went to Detroit at 189. And those were the 6 guys who were drafted during the draft. Now, don't forget, you do have free agency. You do have unsigned or undrafted agents And 3 of those Tigers did end up signing contracts with teams over the weekend. Noah Cain is with the Bengals, so he joins Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow over there in Cincinnati. Andre Sam headed to or signed with Philadelphia, so he'll be a part of the Eagles organization. And Ovi Agofu, is joining Malik in New York with the Giants. So 9 overall, 9 Tigers headed to the pros. Love to see it.
This is such a bad joke, but when you were saying
I
Jacksonville
just want y'all to know Trinity was literally like in her seat, like bouncing up and down, and I knew she had something to say. I just wanted to get through that list, but apparently you did have something to say.
I did have something to say. When you were talking about how the Jaguars wanted to get all the LSU Tigers, they were like, honestly, they have a taste of the Clemson Tigers on their team.
I knew you were going
They're like,
here.
maybe we really need a taste of the true Death Valley, the true Tigers, because
Trevor Lawrence is a fraud.
Yeah,
and I did just say that.
They really need to know what it is like to actually be a Tiger, and who's better to do it if you're not LSU?
Damn straight. Oh, we do have a chat, Mom. I actually appreciate this comment. Did you see that Kool-Aid now has his own flavor? Kool-Aid McKinstry is a New Orleans Saint. What a cool nickname. And actually, no, Mom, I did not know that. So that's really freaking cool. I'm guessing, that makes sense. Your nickname is Kool-Aid. You're going to have your own Kool-Aid flavor. Excited that he's in New Orleans. This is not a Saints show, sadly. Otherwise, I would go in depth about what's going on in New Orleans and that quarterback draft pick, Spencer Rattler. Anyway, we're not going to go there. This is an LSU Sports show. So we're going to stick to our LSU Sports. But, okay, so let's talk a little bit about Jayden and Malik. Jayden goes to the Commanders. First off, it kind of blows my mind. It doesn't blow my mind because this has been a conversation for months that Caleb Williams was probably going to go off the board first. He was going to he was the guy, right? Yeah. Jayden's your Heisman winner. So that in itself, and I know it's happened before, but to pass up a Heisman candidate to go grab another quarterback, kind of an interesting move. The Bears always make interesting moves, though, so that kind of doesn't surprise me. But Jayden being in Washington, when you look at Washington as a whole, that organization has not seen too much success. In fact, they've seen a lot of controversy on and off the field. But to that point, they seem to be rebranding, and we talked about this on Thursday. They've got a new offensive coordinator, new ownership. They're going through a whole rebuild. Mm-hmm. And you brought up the point that maybe it's a good thing that Jayden ended up in Washington. Granted, the history of how the Commanders have developed quarterbacks is not great. They've struggled at the quarterback position for a couple years. And having him go to an organization that historically has not been able to develop quarterbacks is not your first choice. However, them rebranding, them rebuilding, I think could be what you said, an opportunity for him to contribute, for him to kind of help revamp the organization, and leave his mark, lead that team. We saw Jayden, come from being not the best quarterback in the country to doing a 180, putting in the work, turning into a leader, doing everything he could to lead this team to success. Can he translate that to the NFL in an organization that desperately needs to find a franchise quarterback?
I think he can. I believe that we've seen Jayden grow as a leader, like you said. That's the first thing I thought. It's like, that Washington needs a leader, and Jayden Daniels has proven himself in just 2 years how he can transform a team. LSU wasn't in the best place, honestly, and we were all scared. Everybody was like, what the heck is Jayden Daniels doing? Who is Jayden Daniels? Why is he coming here? But he proved everyone wrong. He proved us so wrong that, he's the Heisman winner. Yeah. And I think Washington needs that storybook little story that we've been seeing constantly with Jayden Daniels. It's just that nice finish. Jayden Daniels can step into this role, and he's going to do what it takes, because this is more than just a sport to him. This is his lifestyle. This is his dream come true. So I don't think he's going to take that lightly, and I believe in him 100% that he's going to build this team up the way he wants it to go, and the way, because at the end of the day, it goes back on him. He's the quarterback.
For sure.
He's the leader. How does he want to be presented in the world of football, in the world of social media. And I think he's going to take it a long way.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it is a game. There's a lot of skill involved. There's a lot of pressure on Jayden Daniels, but he is no stranger to pressure. You come in to a culture, an organization that had Joe Burrow as their quarterback, you're going to feel pressure, right? There's comparison there. There's, well, Joe did this. Can he do this? And he stepped up and he's literally said it to the media, like, pressure's not a problem. Like, I can handle pressure. I'm not worried about pressure. He is going to face pressure. When you are coming into a franchise that can't get it going with a quarterback, now they're looking at you to save the day. Is he going to be able to fill that role? We'll see. We've seen, quarterbacks step into that role and be the guy. We watched Joe Burrow go up to Cincinnati and, barring the injury, take the Bengals on a Super Bowl run. Granted, I know we all love Joe Burrow. But his NFL career has not panned out the way that the Joe Burrow story, the ideal, iconic, legendary storybook that we all would have liked to write. It's not panned out that way. So, yes, as much as we want to see Jayden step into this position and take this franchise and lead it and do a 180 and turn it in the right direction, there's still pressure there. There's still expectations to meet. And you still have to transition to a whole different level of gameplay. College SEC ball is one thing, and it's tough. But the NFL is a whole nother monster. And you see from college athletes all the time, they either jump and they make the transition or they fall on their face. It is what it is. That's the nature of the game. But we want to see Jayden Daniels do well. Go ahead.
Corinna said, how would he revamp the organization, especially with vets who have been there for a while?
How would he revamp the organization, especially with vets who have been there for a while? So kind of like what we were talking about, Washington, ownership. They're talking about the name of their team again, because remember, they were the Redskins before, and I don't know if y'all know anything about this. There's another lawsuit from Native Americans pushing for them to change their name back to the Redskins. So there's, when I say revamp an organization, they are trying to rebrand completely. His, like you said, his skill level, his work ethic, his character. He seems like a guy that could go in there, and maybe he doesn't turn out to be their franchise quarterback, but it is absolutely a good move to bring in your Heisman, your 2023 Heisman winner into the organization to start that for the Commanders. So we'll see, again, how he transitions to professional ball, but there's no doubt in my mind that if of the options on the board, Jayden was probably one of the best to go to Washington. I'm looking at some ooby-doo. Jayden is going to be the puzzle piece for Washington to become a prominent organization again. I have faith in him. Look what he did for LSU. That's kind of what we just talked about, what you just said. He does have all the pieces needed to be that for Washington. The exact same way Joe put a lot of the eye back on the Bengals in the game. Yeah, so LSU produces athletes, right? And actually, we have some fun facts here for you that you put into the show doc. Jayden Daniels is the highest drafted player for Brian Kelly in 33 years. He also became LSU's 50th first-round pick. That's 9th in college. I think we ranked 9th with the most first overall picks.
Yeah.
LSU has also produced 3 Heisman Trophy winners. All 3 have been picked either number 1 or 2. Joe Burrow, Jayden Daniels, and Billy Cannon.
So,
again, I mean, you look back at the drafts and the numbers, and not even just LSU, but the SEC, the amount of draft picks that they produce. But LSU specifically, we produce players, and if you're going to be put into a situation, not a situation, but an organization that is desperately looking for something to do a 180, LSU products like Jayden Daniels can do it. We'll shift over Malik Neighbors. We talked about Malik, and again, another weapon on this offense this season. The LSU offense was impeccable. The defense, not so much. And granted, had the defense been able to carry a little bit more weight, we would have seen a hell of a team from LSU. And even with a pretty rough defense, still pulled out some games, still did some crazy things. Look at the statistics. Heisman quarterback. You have receivers that are leading the nation in yards and breaking records left and right. Malik Neighbors being one of them. And we thought in the draft, you had Arizona at 4, the Chargers at 5, and then the Giants at 6. All 3 teams needed receivers. Malik falls 6. And I thought he was going to go to the Chargers, dude. Arizona, fine, but
because I remember you saying that. I think it was you and Anthony. Y'all were both like, since OJ was at the Giants, y'all are kind of scared that they're not going to make that.
Oh, Odell. You said OJ. I'm like,
oh my God.
OJ. This is not the show for that.
I'm so sorry. Odell. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
So, but we also, said maybe they steer clear of LSU receivers because of OBJ. That was just Odell's time in New York was up and down, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't steer clear of LSU wide receivers. It's kind of cool to see Malik go to New York after Odell was up there.
Sorry, Ender. I meant OBJ.
Arizona obviously goes with Marvin Harrison Jr. That's the Biletnikoff winner. He's arguably the best receiver in the country this past year. So for Arizona to grab him, understandable. The Chargers made a front office move that probably was the right decision for them. They went Joe Alt. Their offensive line needs freaking help. You can have receivers for Justin Herbert, but if you can't protect Justin Herbert, he can't throw the ball. So smart decision, obviously, why they are the front office of the Los Angeles Chargers. They go offensive line. So then that drops Malik to New York. I think he's going to be an asset up there. Now, can Daniel Jones throw the ball to Malik? That's going to be a question that we have answers to probably over the offseason. They're in training now. The guys are going to be heading out to their teams pretty soon to start rookie mini camps. But we'll see what that connection looks like. Now, Daniel Jones, Brian Dable, you have a nice little organization, especially with the coaching up there. If they can figure out how to put Malik into their system, he's going to do really well. And I see him being as kind of like a Jamar. Like he gets there and he produces and he completely revamps the offense. Some more fun facts. Thank you, Trinity. Do you want to go ahead and let everybody know the fun facts you found?
Yes. Neighbors is the second player in program history selected in the first round by the New York Giants.
Girlfriend, I told y'all Monday is Monday.
I
don't know what's going on
the wall. Giants, New York Giants. Oh my gosh, joining Odell Beckham Jr. He was the 12th overall pick in 2014. Neighbors joins Jamar Chase, number 5 overall in the 22 NFL draft by Cincinnati Bengals. As LSU's 2 receivers picked in the top 10 of the NFL draft.
There you go. Some more stats for you. I'm looking at the chat here. Yes, I had to bring. First off, people are ribbing on you for the OJ slip up. She did say OJ. She meant OBJ. We're going to move on. Ender, I did have to bring up the Joe Alt pick. I know the Titans wanted or needed some offensive line help. Unfortunately, I don't cover the Titans anymore, but wish you the best of luck. Y'all should figure it out. Rand Carthen's a smart guy. Y'all get it together. And I think y'all trust Will Levis. We'll see. What's up, Carl? Thanks for swinging by. Carl came to the draft party the other day, took a picture with the crew, so that was really cool. Shout out to Carl for supporting the show and for coming through the other day.
They are coming at me. They are coming at me.
He said, "Hey, Trin, you good? Must be the rainy weather." Yeah, I don't know what's in the air today, but Trinity's having a day.
We're here though, you know.
Here. We made it.
And we're talking sports, so that's all that matters.
We made it. And then the Brian Thomas. Okay, so Brian Thomas goes in the first round. And there was question as time went on, kind of fell out of the top 10, fell out of the top 15, and we had a lot of even coaches predicting that he was going to go earlier than he did. Now, granted, the Jags traded their pick with the Vikings, right? It was the Vikings. No, the Jets and the Jets and the Vikings switched. Anyway, Vikings, the Jags. Yeah. I can't remember who. Sue me. The Jags traded their pick and fell back, and then ended up grabbing Brian Thomas later at 23. But they were going to get a receiver again. Another team in desperate need. They big fans of LSU football apparently. I mean, you literally grab 3 guys from the same team, which is also really cool. Because they already have that chemistry, they already have that bond. Makai joining Malik in New York is really cool. You like to see teammates go to the same team because there's that chemistry there. Any last thoughts about the draft?
No.
No?
No, I'm just ready to see how the Jacksonville Jaguars produce this year. 904, baby. Duval.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Moving on. Baseball. We talked about it briefly yesterday. You guys know we do Beyond the Box. Anthony Renato co-hosts. We're in a situation. We were hoping for a sweep over Auburn, considering they are at the bottom of the SEC with us. Now we bumped up because we won the series. Ole Miss is now below us. So at least at this point, if we can hold out and stay above Ole Miss, we need Ole Miss to lose some more games. We'll be going to Hoover, but it's going to take a lot of work. They have to win a lot of games. And unfortunately, you're facing A&M, the best team in the country, or the best team in the SEC. Then you have Bama, and then you have Ole Miss. So you're on an uphill battle here. Dropping that game on Sunday, a little bit of a momentum killer, because we had talked last week on the show. You build this momentum, you sweep Auburn, you go into midweek, you get a big win, and then you face number one in Alex Box with all that momentum building. You might have a story here, LSU makes a run, but that's not what happened. I do want to remind everyone that this national championship team that we keep raving about from last season didn't have a great season either. We tend to overlook some of the questionable games and mistakes and errors because of the names on that team and the roster that we had. The individual talent was incomparable. Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, Trey Morgan, guys that go early in the draft and are already making a career for themselves in pro ball. We end up coming out of the losers bracket, winning a national championship, but not after getting our asses kicked by Florida in game 2. So when we're looking at this year's team, yes, it is very easy to fall into, oh my God, what the hell is happening with LSU baseball? And it's kind of fair to ask that question, but keep in perspective, remember the context that last year's team wasn't untouchable either. They lost games, and even going into Omaha, there was questions if they were going to make it out of a regional. So the season's not over. There are 3 more series. You still have the SEC tournament. Things can change very quickly. Baseball is crazy. Anthony says that all the time. But you're still trying to figure out the pieces. We saw Cade Anderson start on Sunday. Anthony's been calling for that for weeks. Now, unfortunately for Cade, it's not the ideal scenario, right? You come in and you get pulled in the first inning, your first Sunday start. Not completely his fault. Did he have the best performance he could have had? No. Were there other parts of the game that kind of didn't help him out? Yeah, we shifted not once but twice to give up runs. Not once, but twice. I'm going to be honest, I don't really understand the shit. I do. I know why teams do it. I think we're not used to that in LSU baseball because that's not something you see often in this culture down here. That's not LSU baseball. Shifts are not a big part of what we do. You know what else is not a big part of LSU baseball? Squeeze bunts. Squeeze bunts. Now, we won the game on Saturday, but in the 4th inning, when you have Alex Milazzo up to bat and Hayden Travinsky on third, and I forget who was on second or first, Milazzo hits a 2-run RBI the night before, doing some good damage for LSU, putting up those insurance runs. But you now have him in the box with the opportunity to do the same thing. Base hit scores, okay? You don't need anything crazy. We have him square around not once but twice. Misses the squeeze bunt. Hayden Travinsky gets caught in a rundown, and you get an out. And now you don't have a runner on third. You've got somebody on first. So the decision making. Let me be very careful with how I say this. I am not a college baseball coach. I am not a college baseball coach. I am not a college baseball expert, but I am an LSU fan and I study LSU baseball. It is fair to ask questions like why? Why did we choose to squeeze? Why did we shift? Why are we just now putting Kate Anderson on the mound with 3 series left? Why? It's very, not that anything is wrong, just different than what we're used to. We've talked about this so many times that it feels like the pieces are there. They're just trying to figure out how they fit together. Is this your Sunday rotation that you start with? Throughout the season, we've said Luke Coleman is your Friday night guy. Luke Coleman is your Friday night guy. Why would you switch him to Saturday? Gage Jump has electric stuff, okay? He is a Friday night guy. You see how the series pans out. Jump comes in, locks in a Friday night win again, gets the momentum going into Saturday. Luke Coleman comes in, they get a win. You're looking for your Sunday piece. Kate Anderson did not lose that for himself. I fully believe Jay Johnson's going to give him another shot next Sunday to be the Sunday guy. But you're at the very end of the season. You still never had a solid rotation like we're used to seeing. And also, we were spoiled last year, just to put that out there. But a lot of little things, and if you've watched any of the episodes of Beyond the Box, we have been harping on this. It is small things that have not come together, things that are being overlooked, leaving guys on base. God, the amount of runners left on base in scoring position cannot happen. Errors on easy plays, just miscommunications in the outfield, just little things that add up. One bad inning here loses us the game yesterday. That shift really, I agree. Who said it in the chat? Carl, yes, the shift did cost us. But as the season progresses, it's crunch time. Now it's time to put everything together. Now you don't have any room to figure things out, try to see who fits where. You really got to stick to something and go. That's not just a coaching decision, though. That requires your players to step up and fill a role. They're figuring it out. They're slowly figuring it out, and it's very, very difficult. And we've talked to Anthony about this. Being on a national championship team, the season after, you have a whole different collection of challenges now. You've got the pressure, you've got expectations, you've got new teammates. Like, there's so much that goes into this that just, it's difficult for Jay Johnson to coach, and he's got a completely different team. Turning back to the chat, I know people are weighing in here. Need to win 7 more games. At the least, yeah. Would love to see a win, at least one against Texas A&M. If you could sweep Ole Miss and Alabama and get 1 win over Texas A&M, you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Realistically, does that happen? We didn't sweep Auburn, so what are the odds they sweep Ole Miss and Bama? Not great. Can happen. Crazier things have happened. What's up? Did you want to wait?
Oh,
you look like you want to say something.
I was just going to say that I really think like this weekend can really determine how well they play for the rest of the season, because it is Texas A&M. Either they get that 1 win and the momentum is there going into Alabama and the rest of the teams. But I really think that this is going to either help build their confidence or either hinder it a little bit.
Yeah. Look, this is an opportunity, right? You have the number 1 team in the SEC coming into your house. You have doubters, right? Everybody's running their mouths about what you should be doing. They think this and they're questioning this. We're questioning. Not that we don't support LSU or Jay Johnson. Big fans, but fair to question. So yeah, it's an opportunity to say, hey, shut the hell up and let us play ball.
Yeah.
Number 1 team. That would be a statement. If you can get a win or 2 over A&M, the momentum that would carry over from that series throughout the rest of this season would be electric. You have to do that. I have no doubt that they are going to lock the hell in. They're going to get a win over Grambling tomorrow. And then they're going to ride into this series knowing what's on the line, wanting to prove themselves. Again, more reps under the belt. You're still figuring out your pieces. So maybe it's crazy to say, but I do see them winning. I don't think that we get swept this weekend.
Yeah.
I do not think that we get swept this weekend. I think there's too much pride, and there's you have good players. We were asked on a podcast last week, Lucas Hill from Fourth and Forever had Anthony and I on to talk LSU baseball, and he said, do you think this team is overrated? I'll be honest with you, I don't think the word overrated is correct. If you look at the individuals on this team, you got some serious talent. The coaching alone, serious talent. It's just a matter of figuring out how to mesh it all together. So overrated, no. I just don't think they've produced the product that they can yet. It's a matter of time. Can they get it? The question is, can they produce that product before it's too late? Johnson can do so. Yeah, I hear you, Carl. Johnson can only do so much. It's up to the players. You got to step up when your name's called. We've seen a lot of big situations, big moments of pressure just not come through. Now, we've also seen it happen. Josh Pearson, Jared Jones gets intentionally walked because they don't want another bomb from the Bear, and Josh Pearson is in the box, struggling a little bit lately. He comes through, walk off, win over Auburn. Great. So it's a matter of coming through at the right time. Should have started Herring. Anthony has made this point. Griffin Herring, great pitcher. But his role, I believe, is best coming out of the bullpen. He kind of reinforces, bolsters that, reignites the energy. I don't know that starting him would be the move, because then where do you go from there? Could they try it? Absolutely. We have no clue what's going to happen on Sunday. Maybe Jay Johnson says the same thing as you, and he wants to see Griffin start on Sunday. We won't know. We got to get through a midweek game first, because we know that when we overlook the midweeks, they tend to not go the way that we want them to. Corena, yes, it would be a confidence booster for sure. What makes A&M better? The stats are not adding up to a number one team. Well, that's the crazy thing about baseball, because if you also look at LSU stats and their rankings, they're not in the bottom of any category. You look at team ERA, team batting average, team fielding percentage, you're right in the middle of all of those rankings there. Stats only tell so much of the story. So yes, if you look at A&M's numbers, it might be like, wait, I don't understand. Good teams find a way. So their numbers might not be great, but they're pulling out the wins and they're getting it done. They're finding a way to do it. LSU just doesn't have that part yet. The numbers aren't horrible. They're not where we would love for them to be. But again, numbers are only so much of the story. If they can figure out the little things and the pieces and get some sort of momentum rhythm going, you're going to see a completely different team. Nobody wants to win more than the players and the coaching staff. It's a great point. Yeah. When we had Clay Moffitt on Beyond the Box a couple weeks ago, he said that exact point. Like, it is so easy if you've never worn that jersey and you've never played for the organization to share your opinion and to say this is what you should be doing. And you want to win as a fan. I guarantee you that these guys that are at the field every single day, Jay Johnson, who is at the field till sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning, they want to win more than anyone else. And they are doing what they can to figure it out. They're not being nonchalant. They've taken extreme measures. Their phones are banned. They literally cannot have their phones in the facility. So they are taking extreme measures to figure out a way to get those wins. Don't think that they just don't care about the season and that they've hung up their shit already and they're ready to be done. No, they want more than anything to come in, especially to this weekend, and secure maybe a series win over A&M. So yes, you are absolutely correct. We're going to keep talking baseball, but not today, not on this show. We're going to keep talking baseball tomorrow after that midweek game against Grambling State at Modesto. No,
we're
at Don Juan Cigar Bar. What are we talking about? Tuesday. So you guys know we do Beyond the Box. I hosted along with former MLB LSU pitcher, LSU national champion, Anthony Renato. So we get some great analysis there, some good experience, some good storytelling as well. And we'll be talking about LSU baseball again tomorrow night at Don Juan. If you can't swing by Don Juan, which is a cigar bar off of Corporate, the vibes are super cool, good drinks, good cigars, good food, good people, then tune in on YouTube. We'll be right back here on this YouTube channel. But make sure y'all come back for some more baseball talk, because we only have so many Beyond the Boxes left. Baseball season's wrapping up. We're going to switch over to softball. I know you had some notes in here, but I feel like they want to know more. They can tune in to Beyond the Box. LSU softball. So early in the season, they were undefeated. They were having a year, and then kind of went on a little bit of a slide. Ended up finishing their SEC schedule 12-12. Not terrible. That's literally 50-50. But they lost their last series to Arkansas. They only won one game. They didn't get swept, but they lost the series. Having a little bit of a rough patch, but that happens. SEC games are so difficult. The level of competitiveness, the level of skill, the girls that you're facing, they're seeing some stuff. I mean, I think Anthony said last week that Tennessee, that their pitcher was posting 74. She was throwing heat. Yeah. 74 miles an hour, y'all. If you've ever stood in a box and had a softball coming at you, before any of you baseball fans turn around and tell me anything about how fast a baseball is pitched, let me tell you something. One, the ball can move up. Baseballs can't do that. Two, you are much closer. So 74 versus 92, big difference when you're at the same distance. However, softball, you're a little bit closer. So that's heat, equivalent to about 96, maybe 98. And it might be pushing 100 in softball world versus baseball world. So they were throwing heat. LSU put up a great fight against Tennessee. They're also ranked number 1 in the SEC. So just because, and again, going back to your point, Carl, on numbers and records, it doesn't tell the whole story. You watch these games, these girls are fighting hard. Beth Torina is a great coach. She just became the most winningest coach in program history. Some more stats for you. Their stretch is at 17 consecutive seasons with a 500 or better record in SEC play, dating back to 06. So when you look at a record, 12-12, and you look at the way that the season started and they're undefeated and they're ranked and things kind of start to slide. It's not a slide of like, oh shit, LSU softball's falling apart. No, the competition got harder. The SEC softball is crazy good. They're still playing good softball. It's just not falling their way. Point right here. Sydney Berzon had a shutout the other day, right? Yeah, yep. Complete game shutout. Complete game shutout. Okay? She fanned 6 batters. She only allowed 3 hits, had 4 walks, but a shutout is a shutout.
Yeah, and that's the reason why they won.
My point exactly. So, actually, all 12 of LSU's shutout wins this season have been complete game shutouts. So, pitching is fire. But that's good to actually know. So, like I said, they wrapped up SEC play. They do have one more series, a 3-game series. It's non-conference against Liberty University this weekend. It'll be at Tiger Park, so first pitch on Friday at 6 p.m. These girls are fun to watch. I know softball doesn't get as much love as some of the other sports, but if you're a baseball fan, I encourage you to try out a softball game. Why do I say that? Because they are very different games, but they are similar in ways, and it's a little bit more intimate. The passion and the fire that LSU softball is known for, the dugout energy, even Beth Torina getting involved in some of that. The games are exciting. You're closer to it. It's shorter than baseball. But support these girls, because what they're doing, what Beth Torina is doing, they're on a run. They could have a great postseason. We could see them back in Oklahoma City. Allie Newland came on Up and In and talked about it. You know, that's their goal. They have the team to do it. Support them. We talked to Sierra Briggs. One of the things she said is, you know, we want people to come watch. Like, our team is special. And, you know, they've been through the ringer with teams where they couldn't find the pieces. They couldn't get it together. The chemistry wasn't there. For multiple veterans on this team to turn around and say, hey, look, I've been on teams that we didn't have the chemistry and it just wasn't our year. I'm telling you, it could be our year. Like, we could be back in Oklahoma City. And Beth Torina at the head of the charge, it could happen. So last home series of the year for them, show out Friday, 6 p.m. at Tiger Park. That's about all the sports news we have right now. Yeah. We're going to keep y'all posted on everything, obviously, on Instagram. If you enjoy us going live, we do have a lot of exciting things that I'm about to list off.
Oh, wait. It is senior weekend this weekend for softball.
Even more of a reason to go support these girls. The seniors on this team, we've spoken to. You've got gold glove winners. Sierra Briggs won it 2 years in a row. Allie Newland, her work ethic and the way that she carries herself, unmatched. Go check them out for yourself. Yeah, senior weekend. Come on. We have quite the lineup for Valley Vision this week. We had quite the lineup last week. I feel like we did a live show damn near every day. But this week we have some really fun stuff coming up. So, like I said, tomorrow we'll be live at Don Juan, probably around 8:30 towards the end of the midweek game. Don Juan off of Corporate. Super cool place. If you haven't been, just come check it out, smoke a cigar, talk some baseball. I believe former LSU catcher Micah Gibbs, that's actually one of Anthony's former catchers, so they'll have some cool stories, is going to join us for that show. On Thursday, we will be recording. It won't go out. But I'm going to tease it. We'll be recording an Up and In with Izzy Besselman from women's basketball, so Anthony will get to talk to her. That'll go out on Friday. And right after that, the one and only Miss Grace Kelly is going to pop by the studio to make some really fun content. So if you guys remember when we did the vlogs during football season, Grace co-hosted one of them with me, and it went great. She was asking people about Brian Kelly. People were giving their honest opinions of Brian Kelly, not knowing that they were speaking to her daughter. So we got some great content, and in light of that, we decided that we were going to ask her, I said, hey, Grace, one, would you want to come back on Valley Vision? Of course, yes, 100%. She loves Valley Vision. Two, would you be opposed to reading social media tweets, forums about your dad on air? Oh my God, I love it. So Grace is going to come in here and she's going to pull up all the dirt on her dad on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, whatever, and react to comments. We'll get her take on the jet ski video. Like, we're going to get all of it and hear from her. So that will be recorded on Thursday, and I believe we're going to try to get it out on Saturday. So super pumped for that. And then another piece of content, we told y'all we went and met with Emily Meyer from beach volleyball. Now they're headed to Gulf Shores. They've been doing incredibly well. They beat UCLA. They were super pumped about it. Their momentum is kind of moving, so we figured we're going to drop that interview right before they head to Gulf Shores for their postseason stuff. That'll go out on Friday morning. And fun fact, Emily and I played high school ball, won a couple state championships together, so super cool to catch up with her and play on the courts with her. And then what else this week? So normally we do Beyond the Box at Modesto on Sunday. However, it is Cinco de Mayo on Sunday, so we are going to get out of the way at Modesto and let them do their festivities. If I had to guess, we'll be at Modesto Friday night. Not completely sure yet, but once we know, you guys will know on Instagram. So make sure you're following us on Instagram at Valley Vision or Valley__Vision. And like I said, we got a whole lineup full of content coming at y'all this week. There's a lot of exciting things happening in the future as well. So make sure you hit subscribe. I'm literally going to prompt you to hit subscribe right now. Hit the button. It's not going to do anything other than change colors and say subscribed with a little check. It does us a huge, huge favor. I mean, any of the engagement you guys do, subscribing, liking the video goes a long way, sharing it, commenting, all of that does a lot for us, and we appreciate it so much. So if you want to stay in the know and keep growing with us and keep seeing this really cool content that we keep putting out that no one else is, make sure you subscribe. And we will be back tomorrow. We appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all so soon.